and you're watching For the Win. Now, I have with me Shankar Santhiram, the Managing Consultant of EQTD Consulting, and he's here to talk a little bit about, to continue the conversation we had the past couple of weeks about finding professional purpose. But just to have a quick note, Shankar, you're also on light in the mornings,
I
right?
am on light in the morning at an unearthly hour, 6:50 in the morning, and then again at 9:10.
And it's called The Right Perspective.
Yep, it's called The Right Perspective.
And you share your thoughts of
It's
the
essentially
day.
getting people ready for the workday. So a little sound bite capsule where you will hear my voice, and the idea is for me to inspire and engage you to actually go and become productive that particular workday. So I'm on every workday, Mondays to Fridays.
Well, we have you for a whole half an hour for you to inspire us and to get us ready for the next working day.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about professional purpose, Shankar. We've spoken the past few weeks about the importance of purpose, about the need to determine your professional purpose.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, Shankar, what do you do if you don't know what your professional purpose is? And what if you are confused as to how to find it?
Most people I meet in the training programs and coaching programs that I do think they have a sense of purpose.
Right.
And somewhat have a sense of purpose, because your purpose is not just one singular purpose that runs across your whole life and that's the only thing you do.
Right,
because,
we spoke about that, right? It evolves.
Then you become very one-dimensional. And there are one-dimensional people. No one likes one-dimensional people. You know? You're terribly boring when you're one-dimensional. My wife, for example, is a vet, and she's very invested in in being a holistic veterinarian.
Right.
And over the last 12 years or so of being together, it has been my singular task to get her away from being one-dimensional.
To have diverse
Yes,
interests.
to actually be interested in me more, as much as she likes our cats. You
So
know?
just two-dimensional then.
That's better than just being one-dimensional. So to come back to the question, yeah, I mean, we have, and the purpose also changes from age to age, from time to time.
Right.
So for example, if you're a parent right now, and if you have a child, 3 or 4 years old, your greatest purpose, joy in life is if you can get a full 8 hours of sleep.
Yes.
For example, right? But as your son or daughter becomes 7 or 8, then the purpose drive changes. You want them to eat. You want them to increase their motor neurosenses, I would imagine. By the time they're 13 or 14, you want them to concentrate on skills development and basic formative
Be
years.
interested in the world, have a natural curiosity.
By the time they're 18 and 19, you just want them out of the house, for example. So you have a different purpose drive at different times of your life for different things. Everything we do, like you and I both come from Penang. I go to Penang for work, and my purpose drive is very clear. I turn up there for work, and when I turn up there for work, I want to just get in there and get out.
So for those of us, and you said many people don't know or don't really have a sense of purpose, how do we go about actually finding it? How do we know that this job is the job that, coincides with my purpose?
Firstly, you won't know until you do it. So if you sit around scratching your head and think, purpose will appear one day.
Yes.
It will show up in my
Yes,
life.
the light bulb will go on.
Yeah. You will have these aha moments where, ding, suddenly you will wake up in the morning and you will find your purpose. I think unless you detach yourself completely from the world and learn meditative techniques or become a hermit or go and sit under the Bodhi tree like Buddha, I find it almost implausible to think that you will just wake up one morning and get a purpose drive quite clear.
So you have to consciously think about what it is and refine your
Get out there
purpose.
and do things.
Okay.
As you do things, and this is the actual basic requirement. You need to get out and do things, firstly. And secondly, as you do it, be vested and invested in that goal. Immersive, be
What do you mean by
immersive.
that?
For example, some time ago, I went to watch a theatre production, and I found that the main protagonist in this particular play was phenomenal, because she took on a couple of roles, and the physical transformation was just amazing. So first half she was a person, and you looked at them and went like, wow, that's really good. She played a man. Second half, she played a kind of a boisterous woman, and she had a different perspective altogether. And when I was talking to the executive producers of that play, and this is fantastic, I've followed her for years. She's a great Malaysian actress and theatre personality. She immerses herself into the role, which means it takes her a full day to get into that role. She has to get dressed up,
Get
put the
into
shoe on.
character.
And I think that's essentially how we all grow. You need to immerse yourself in something fully for you to realize or understand whether you like it or not. If you stand as a spectator on the periphery of your job, which is what a lot of people do. I don't know whether this is my passion. So we have camera people here, right? Right. So I'm not sure whether I want to be a cameraman or not. So what you do is you come, you put the camera, and then you go like, "Aku buat kerja lah, I just do the work," you know. Tengok macam mana, you know. You do that, right? And after 6 months, you go like, "Actually, I don't like this job." You know why? Because you didn't immerse yourself in the job. You didn't learn anything new. There was nothing exciting about what you did.
Okay, so in any new job, any new role, if you're feeling even slightly confused about it, try giving it your all.
Give a
Be
go first.
present.
Get in there, give it a go.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
And then
And be honest with yourself. And don't tell your bosses that you're giving it a go. Actually give it a go. You know? Because
it a
we're
go and
phenomenal
see.
actors. All of us, I tell them the work that I do, right? I always tell people the Oscar-winning performances are usually by employees.
oh
right?
yes.
You know, you don't finish a report, you don't finish your whatever work, and you're phenomenal. You put so much energy to express to your bosses that you couldn't do something. Why don't you take that energy, put it into actually doing it,
Okay.
and
all
then
right.
see how it goes, and then be honest with yourself. You know, I gave it a real go. I've thought about this is where a lot of purpose drive comes from your own honesty. You know, you must ask yourself, did I give it a go?
Okay.
Did I put my and I learned this through experience.
And
as well.
from that, you can kind of use the process of elimination. What works for me? What
right.
doesn't work for
That's
me?
right.
What
Absolutely.
do I truly enjoy?
Absolutely.
But I guess the real question is, how do you then ensure all these intersections cross
Yep.
to make sure that you enjoy doing something that has meaning and purpose? We're going to talk about that right after these messages. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us on For the Win. I've got Shankar Santhiram from EQTD Consulting here with me. We're continuing our theme of finding your professional purpose. Now, how do we actually go about doing it, Shankar? Because we talked about the importance of it, but how do you actually find it?
First, I said you have to actually try it, right? But and that's the big drama for most of us.
Yeah. Must
Try
try.
this.
Must give it a go.
I don't want to give it a
real
go. And and as I said, you sit back and you think, oh, you know, follow your passion.
Right.
So this is another bit of a fallacy with people, I think. And
Follow your
I
passion.
believe that you need to follow your passion. I think your passion drives you forward. But I think it's such an overused phrase. And it's a phrase which is used to just, whenever anybody doesn't know what to do, the best advice you can give them is, you know what, Melissa, go, follow your passion. And when people used to say this to me, I'm like, actually, I don't know what I want. You know, I don't know what I mean, what is my passion?
What is passion actually? It's what you're good at, right? What you love to do.
Passion is what you are, what excites you all the time, right? So, for example, when, you're right. You know what you want to do all the time. What is something that you do well all the time? So, for me, for example, if I had followed my passion, my life would have amounted to not much.
Football.
Yeah, you
That's
know this. We talked about this the last time,
That's
right?
right.
You know, I have kaki bangku. You know what I mean? I love football, but I really can't play. I mean, maybe I could have developed that skill. Maybe if I put enough effort, so on and so forth, I might have picked it up or might have become better. But I think more than following our passion, we need to figure out what we're actually good at.
Okay.
And once we figure that part out, once we're good at, then you iterate and reiterate and reiterate. You keep doing it. You keep building up your body of knowledge. And also, you and I both know, right? Once we get good at something and once we get paid well for it, that excites us.
Yeah.
And that becomes our passion. And also, people say, "What's your passion?" So my passion is traveling. I want to travel. And I've got, for example, Pam, who works with me in my organization. We were having this chat the other day. I said, "What's your passion?" She goes, "My passion is to sleep and to eat."
Oh,
Right?
I don't think you're going to get paid for that.
That's right.
Pam.
But she understands that I'm not going to get paid for that. She goes, "No, I will work really, really hard to earn as much money as I can so I can go on holiday and sleep and eat."
Okay,
And I thought,
understood.
see, the connection is there. And that's what I think most people need to understand. That the connection needs to be there. It's not about just doing A, B, or C, or I'm going to be a footballer, I'm going to be a theatre performer, I'm going to be an artist, I'm going to be a scientist or a musician. Right? You know, we talked about this also when we were
Yeah.
young, both of us.
Yes.
I wanted to be a ferry driver.
And I wanted to be a newsreader.
Absolutely.
How did that work out?
Exactly. And I never became a ferry driver, and you are a TV personality now. Hey, how's that? But you find, and then you do, and then you get paid for what you do, and the payment is validation for your skills. And as you get more and more skillful, you feel like you want to do the job more and more. And suddenly, at the age of 30, you go like, oh, I found my passion.
So it's
I'm a phenomenal
cycle.
newsreader. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
In a sense, right? So you become good at what you do, and then, and then you grow. Now, when I'm running my training programs, and I was trying very hard to find the best way to describe this, and I brought it along. I stumbled upon, it's been around for a very long time, a Japanese concept called Ikigai.
Ikigai.
Ikigai, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure some Japanese.
What does it mean?
The reason for being.
The reason for being. Isn't there like a French term for it? Raison d'être?
That's
Yes.
right. That's the reason for being,
Yes.
the Ikigai concept. But they take it one step further. And I brought this along here, and I wanted to share that with you, right?
Okay.
Literally all of us. It's a concept where you have these concentric circles layered over each other.
Okay.
And essentially they stem from four fundamental bases. First base is, what is it that you love doing?
Okay.
What you love doing. So when you're looking for a passion, I think the first thing we need to do is ask yourself, what is it that you love doing?
Right.
Okay, so you figure that one out.
Okay.
I mean,
Football. You love football.
football. I love
cooking.
football. I love cooking.
Okay.
I love speaking. I
Sure.
love standing in front. I love performing. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
All
this is
right.
what
Love
I
to
enjoy. I
do.
love to do.
All right.
I love traveling. Okay. Then you look at the next part, which is, what does the world actually need? Me traveling around, the world
Well,
doesn't
does
actually
not
need.
need that, Shankar, no.
Absolutely. Me wandering about aimlessly.
Or Pam sleeping.
The world doesn't need another Pam sleeping. You know what I mean? Then you look at the third circle, is what is it that I'm good at? Right?
Not football. So we've
So
cancelled that out.
so football is completely
Football's
out of the
out.
passion
Okay.
list at
You
the
love
moment.
you love it, but you're not good at it.
Pretty bad at it.
Out,
right?
okay.
But cooking, I think I can do speaking for a living. I think I can
Maybe
do
you
this.
can, all right.
So in the fourth circle, the first one is what do I love doing?
you
Second
love
circle,
doing.
yeah. Second circle is what does the world need?
What does the world need?
Third circle is what are you good at?
Okay.
And the fourth circle is what can I get paid for?
What can I get paid for?
Sometimes the world needs things, but you won't get paid for that.
Right.
So when you place these four circles, you can figure out exactly how to develop your passion. I think because, for example, if you take here, right, love what you do and what the world needs,
Right.
you end up having a mission. Because it's like, for example, Susanna, my wife, she's very, very vested and invested in holistic medicine for animals.
Animals, yes.
And the world truly needs it.
So it's almost like activism, right?
A lot of
Yeah.
people with people who
So
are
they have a
actively
mission.
involved in any form of social or societal growth, or civil rights movements or civil society movements, they all have a mission.
Mission, yes.
Because they love that, and the world actually needs it. Right? So these two circles meet. You've got that kind of mission project. If what you love and what you're good at, that becomes a passion project, right? So, for example, if I can cook, I love cooking, and I can cook, then it's my passion.
Right.
So I love football, but I'm not very good at it. So it can't really fall into my passion section.
Okay.
Right? Now, if you something that you're good at and something that you can get paid for, this is what professionals do. So
Okay.
as I'm a trained lawyer, so I think I was quite good at that, and I could get paid for it, and so therefore I was in a profession. I had a profession.
So you're good. So technically, you're good at your job.
You're
right?
good at your
Good
job.
Okay.
Then you have people who can get paid for something, and it's actually what the world needs. They may not necessarily be good at it, but they'll get paid for it, and that's what the world needs. And this is where you have a vocation.
Shankar, what's an example of something that the world needs, but you can't get paid for it? Because I mean, wouldn't you get paid for something if the world needs it, if there's a demand?
Yeah. So, for example, I'm also the co-owner of a stand-up comedy club.
Oh, yes.
Right. So called the Track House Comedy Club. And for me, I always tell the comedians that you need to reach a point where you get paid, where people, your professionalism and what do you get paid for? You get paid for a service. So does the world need laughter? Absolutely.
Yes.
But sometimes the world wants you to make them laugh, but is not willing to pay you for it because, we have politicians who make us laugh anyway, and we don't need to pay them. Just read the newspaper.
Read the news.
Read the
It
news
makes you
and
laugh for free.
In any case, right? However, when you reach a certain stage of, so your comedy needs to be laced with something a little bit more deeper. So it could be social commentary. It could be that it's topical stuff. Political satire, for example, works, and people are willing to pay. That's why we have some of the big comedians of the world. They have such great, big comedians in the world have such great roles that they play.
All right. Well, we're going to continue our discussion on this Japanese concept of the reason for being called Ikigai right here on For the Win. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching For the Win. I'm Melisa Idris with Shankar Santhiram of EQTD Consulting. We're here at Common Ground Bukit Bintang. It's in Menara Worldwide. It's a beautiful location.
Great views. Phenomenal views.
It's inspiring me, Shankar, to think about Ikigai, my reason for being, right? And you talked about the intersection of what you love and what you're good at and what you can be paid for, plus what the world needs. And that intersection is you achieving Ikigai.
That's right. When you get the four together and you find that you are standing at the intersection where you're doing something that you love.
Okay.
You're doing something that you're good at. You're doing something that you can get paid for, and you're doing something that the world needs. That's
then
when
you've achieved it. You've achieved it.
Now, and there's not just one job that does this. It's not just one vocation that does it.
Okay.
And the process of getting there is actually really, really interesting, right? So for example, earlier we talked about what you love and what you're good at, you put it together. If that two things meet, but you can't get paid for it,
right?
And the world doesn't really need it, right? So for example, some people are really good with bonsai stuff, right? Really beautiful, right? Unless you become some spectacular, world-renowned bonsai expert, nobody's going to buy your bonsai trees.
Okay.
Essentially, you're doing it for yourself, right? Now, collecting stamps, first day covers. These are things that we're told to do.
Passionate about hobbies.
People do origami. Origami, is that what you call it?
Yes, the folding.
Folding of things. Like
I'm surprised that you're picking all the Japanese.
Well, because I'm talking about Ikigai. That's why I'm just sticking with the whole Japanese theme here. So, if you reach a stage when you can get paid for it, and that's what the world wants, it's fantastic. But understand that some things that you do in your life, right, you might be really very good at it and absolutely love doing it, but it's only a passion project.
And you're not going to get paid for it.
And all of us need those passion projects.
Okay.
We need those passion projects because they inspire us,
right?
they fuel us. Yeah, they give us a sense of belonging and a sense of ownership of society around us and the community, that we're doing something useful for the community. So a lot of charity work, for example, people tend to say that, one of the community connections, go on and do charitable works. I think you need to. And I think your charity needs to be passionate, right? And for that, it needs to be something that you love doing and something that you're good at.
Okay.
So if you only love being charitable, but you're terrible at doing it, you're not bringing any benefit to anyone, for example, right?
So with these four sort of subsets, Shankar, what happens if, they don't quite overlap? So for instance, the passion projects that we talked about, you do what you love and you're good at it, so that becomes a passion project.
And then you can get paid for it also, right? So, so for
and
example, I'm going to give you the example,
sure.
right? So what you love, what you're good at, you can actually get paid for it, but it's not what the world needs.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't reach that what the world needs stage. Then what you have is you have a sense of satisfaction, but there is also a sense of a sense of uselessness.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
because the world doesn't need it. I'm doing it.
You feel fulfilled, but what is it for?
Yeah, and you also get paid. So sometimes you will find that people are getting paid quite good money for work that they do, but they realize that their work is actually completely pointless work for the world. Right. So I'm doing like a mind of useless information. I get paid because my organization's a bit silly, they're paying me. And that's when you feel a sense of uselessness.
Even though you're good at your job.
And even though you're good, you love doing it, and you're actually getting paid for it, that is why people leave jobs sometimes. I have a stand-up comedian who came to see me a little while ago, a few days ago, in fact, actually, had a job as a consultant for Accenture, right? And was doing that for 6 years.
Wow.
Gave it all up, gave a 5-figure salary up.
To do stand-up comedy.
To do stand-up comedy. And when we were talking about this, he couldn't quite place it. He said, my mom and dad think I'm nuts. You know what I mean? But they're supportive, but at the same time, they look at me like, this guy is one cucumber short of a sandwich, something like that. There's something wrong with this. And eventually, when I talked to him and we had a chat, and because I'm the co-owner of the club and also the work that I do, he called me once. He's like, "Can we talk?" I thought he had some drama problem. No, actually, he wanted to talk about his career.
Right.
We were talking. I said, "Why did you do it? Let's go back to your purpose drive. Why did you do it?" And then he came up and said, "Basically, I felt like I wasn't being useful. That sense of uselessness." So I think where he was he was good at it as a consultant, And he said, I kind of liked it. That's what I trained to do. I got paid for it, but I didn't feel that what I was doing was what the world needed.
Right.
So I felt a sense of uselessness.
Okay.
So even when three circles meet together,
It's not quite enough.
it's not just not quite there. You know, it's just not the final the umami flavor in life doesn't come through. The fifth sense that marries everything together. You know, for example, I love what I do. It's what the world needs. I can get paid for it, right? So it's really interesting, right? So I love what I do. It's what the world needs, and I can get, but I'm not that good at it. Excitement, complacency also, and a sense of uncertainty because you're not that good, you're always freaked out about the fact that people will find out that I'm actually not very good at it. You know, that I'm going to get fired one day. So there's always this sense of trepidation when you're doing it.
And that's quite stressful.
Yeah, it's completely stressful. You go to work every day. You can't, and big, large organizations, right? So I work as a consultant for large organizations. It's the basic problem. Throw money in the direction of the executives. They pay them so much money. These people all then get that money and then go like, oh my God. So now you take that money, you start buying a house, you buy this, you buy that. You have tremendous commitments, but you're not good at what you do.
Right.
So you just that's when, you know, people can really squeeze you. Dalam bahasa Malaysia, they'll say menindas. You know what I mean? That is when I catch you and I hammer you in the head every day.
Right.
Because where are you going to go? Where are you going to go?
Yeah, you already paid so much.
I pay you a lot of money.
Right.
Secondly, you're not that good, brother. You're not that good. You know what I mean? So
you go to your job feeling uncertain and stressed out because you're getting paid all this money.
Absolutely.
But you're not quite good at what you do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Same thing again, you know, some people are very good at what they do. They can get paid and it's what the world needs.
Right.
But they don't like what they do. They don't love the job.
Okay.
So they're comfortable, but there's a tremendous feeling of emptiness because I'm not doing what I love doing.
Right.
Isn't it?
Right.
So
because you're good at your job, so you get paid for it, and it's something that the world needs.
It's
but
fine. I'm okay. I'm comfortable.
Because you're not satisfied.
Every day you go back home and you go like, you know.
So what do we do then, Shankar, if we haven't
keep
found the
iterating, moving around until you find the sweet spot.
Right.
Because we perform best when we're in that middle spot, right in the middle here, where you do what you love, it's what you're good at, it's what you can be paid for, and it's also what the world needs, and that's your Ikigai.
But what happens if it's completely different industries and different sectors and different skills?
That happens.
You have to try it.
It happens.
Right?
Then you have to figure it out.
Okay.
And that's your life's work.
Wow.
You know, everyone thinks that, you know, a management consultant, I mean, will say like, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, your world will change.
I want the steps, Shankar.
These are the steps.
These are the steps.
These are the steps, and then it's your own effort, your own energy, your own enthusiasm, and then you surround yourself with all the right people who will support you while you get there. You know, marry the right person. This is all important. You know what I mean? Or have the right partner. Marriage is such an old passé statement, but you know, find the right spouse. You know, male, female, whatever, anything you want.
Okay.
Find the right person who will support you along that journey.
Right.
It's a journey.
And look for your Ikigai.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. I found it personally enriching. I hope you found that enriching too on For the Win. We'll be back with Shankar Santhiram from EQTD Consulting next week. Make sure you catch us then. Till then. All right, cool.
Did it work?
Yes.